Hello, it's Jimmy here, O'Reilly. So I have here a Land Cruiser Prado to look at. So this has come down from Portsmouth, I think he said. And yeah, so it's the same usual story. It's been in and out of garages, and they've put almost every sensor all the way along the exhaust line. That hasn't helped. Okay, so inside the vehicle here, it's done 126,000 miles. So usual with these Toyotas, Japanese vehicles, you get all the skid control, 4-low. Ignore all of that, because usually once you've got a fault, say with a DPF, all of this stuff comes up for absolutely no reason whatsoever. Okay, so it's had a exhaust gas temperature sensor, it's had DPF pressure sensor, and they're saying that the temperature was too low, so he's changed the exhaust gas temperature sensor. Then he had the temperature was too hot, but he did do a forced regen. Now I can't make speculations, but from what the customer's telling me is it went in with an exhaust temperature too low. He fitted an exhaust gas temperature sensor and done a forced regen. It then changed from exhaust temperatures too high. If you know my channel, you can see where I'm thinking where this has gone. Is they've put a new exhaust temperature sensor on it, and instead of cleaning the DPF, they've hit a forced regeneration, and now the DPF's got too hot, which has possibly damaged it. It's also had the pressure sensors replaced, and they can't seem to figure out what's wrong with it. So this is why he's driven, I think he said it's taken up like 5 hours to get here. We are currently at 11 o'clock and he left at 6:30 AM to get here. So it's taken me less than 5 minutes to diagnose it, and I'll just show you how I've done it. So I mean, the codes here are telling you exactly what's wrong. The particle filter pressure is too low. Now that could be a bad sensor, or you could have a damaged DPF. Bank 1 temperature sensor circuit high. So that has supposedly been changed, so you could have a wiring issue there, but the sensor itself might not be reading the temperature. Right, so basically what we've got here is the pressure. This is the main fault, pressure too low of the DPF. We'll go to the data stream and we're going to find the DPF. So if we search for differential pressure, we got it here. I don't know if we've got, like, let's have a look if we got soot. No, so some of these Toyotas put it as particle matter or PM, particle let's just tag a few of them. So the particle matter is at 0%, which is not normal. Pressure, change it over that. We've got -7, -10 even. Let's give that an acceleration. So it goes up, but we have negative readings, which is not good. So before you start changing any sensors, let's check the health of the DPF. There it is, and that's the end of story. Don't need to do any further checks. That DPF is now damaged, so it's going to need a replacement DPF. Okay, if we come under here, see that sensor? That's melted. So I'm going to assume that's sensor number 3. Don't see a lot of these. I do get people saying because Toyotas are reliable, that's why you probably don't see them, but they are a very rare car. I don't really see them even driving on the street anywhere. So you'd have your sensor 1 would be at the top, sensor 2, sensor 3. That is right where the DPF is, which is usually sensor number 3. The sensor itself, the cabling has melted there. You can see it's all sort of cracking, dried up, melted. So it doesn't, maybe he's changed the wrong sensor, I don't know, I'd have to have a look under the bonnet. You can see there, it's got a new sensor here. So that's the 3 litre diesel. Don't know if they call this a D4D or not. Okay, so apparently sensor number 3 has been changed, but not what I can see. Like I showed on there, it's looks like the oxygen sensor, or yeah, oxygen sensor has been changed, and some other sensors, but not that temperature sensor number 3, which I think is number 3. That doesn't look like it, so it's been changed. So that's going to need a new one, new DPF, and it'll be fixed. Like I said, and what I think's happened here is it's got a block DPF. They put a new sensor on it, then forced a regen with a DPF that's been overloaded with soot. The DPF has then, because of that, got too hot and cracked. That's just what I think has happened. And then he said he's been to various mechanics in his area, and all of them just look at it and say, well, we can't really diagnose it, we don't know how to fix it, but we can just remap it and do a DPF delete. The customer doesn't want to do that, and then he's saying that's the only option that everybody wants to do for him in his local area. Because I know why that is, because people don't know how to diagnose it, and they're too scared to chuck parts at it because they don't want the customer coming back. And the only way that they can sort of definitely fix it is to just cut it out and remap the software. I mean, you know, I don't blame people for doing that, especially when you're getting a bill of £4,000 to put a new DPF on this. When you're getting quoted sort of £500 to have it deleted, it can be tempting to do that. But anyway, I think we're just about done, and I'll see you on the next video.